What is going on, guys? This is Daniel, and today we'll take a look at how the Phoenix Suns managed to pull off the upset of OKC in the fourth quarter. Now, before we go possession by possession, let's take a look at what happened so far. Gerald Green was on fire from beyond the arc and had 41 points in this game, and the unstoppable play for the Thunder was the high pick and roll. Between Westbrook and Durant, it literally cannot be guarded. You have to give up something, and if PJ Tucker sags or hedges, that leaves Kevin Durant open for a pick and pop. If Dragic switches, that leaves him with a 7-inch disadvantage on Kevin Durant, and if he goes under the screen, that leaves Russell Westbrook, who can hit the outside jumper, which he was in this game when Dragic goes under the screen and roll. Here the Thunder run a pick and roll with Durant and Ibaka doesn't really set many good screens, and the Suns do a good job containing it, and they force Ibaka to take a long contested 2, which he makes. Now the Suns get the switch off the pick and roll, and they correctly try to get into the Morris twin, who is battling Russell Westbrook. Green though sees an opening, and Morris sets an alert screen, and Green gets a dunk. Westbrook would usually be in a position to contain Green, but since he was denying Morris 1 second before, it was really impossible, and Jeremy Lamb was way late on the help defense. Here Westbrook runs a screen with Ibaka, and you'll know the screen go under the screen, which he has no excuse for since it wasn't Durant and the Morris twin was in position to help. The Suns couldn't stop the Thunder offensively, but you'll later see how the Thunder shot themselves in the foot, which is why they lost the game. What the Suns do here is run a pick and roll with Dragic and Green. They get the switch, but when they isolate Green, it's not a bad matchup for the Thunder, as Russell Westbrook can certainly handle him. There is no movement, the isolation is poor, and they turn it over. The Thunder again go Westbrook and Ibaka in the pick and roll, but Westbrook settles for a long 2. Now on the Suns' possession, they don't get to Dragic or Green, but isolate Ish Smith. This is a questionable decision, but Ish Smith, you'll see, isolates on Jeremy Lamb, who just can't handle his quickness, I guess, and he gets right to the rim for a layup. Now in the Thunder possession, they have very little movement, the screens aren't set well, they try to get a pin down for Durant, but Ibaka does not set a good screen at all. And they actually run the Durant-Westbrook pick and roll, but Durant doesn't set any kind of a screen, and Durant isolates and misses badly off a poor possession. Now, much better basketball for the Suns. They move it around, get the switch off a pick and roll, and when Green cuts to the top, he gets middle penetration, which always leads to good things, and he gets a foul. Now, the Thunder finally go back to Durant and Westbrook pick and roll, which they should be doing on every possession, and Green goes under the screen, and Westbrook gets a foul, exploding to the basket. The Suns run the same dribble handoff motion, and they get another switch with Dragic, and they go to work on Ibaka, which is fine. They could have also gone to Marcus Morris isolating on Derek Fisher. Dragic gets into the lane, but a nice defensive block by Ibaka. This time, before the screen roll occurs, Green gives Westbrook way too much space, and he hits another 3. When he's hitting those shots, it's pretty much impossible to stop this offense. On this Green drive, Caron Butler with the arm sleeve should already be in the paint looking to take a charge. He is way late, which the Thunder really need to work on overall, and Green gets a layup, which he blows, and the Thunder corral the rebound. This leads to a 3-on-3 fast break, and Fisher is correctly taking the wing, and Ibaka is running down the seam, and Durant perfectly finds Ibaka underneath for a dunk, and the Thunder take a 2-point lead. Now after giving up the lead, the Suns are looking like the Thunder a few possessions ago. They just stall, there's no movement whatsoever. Ish Smith's trying to diagram something, and you'll see they don't start their offense until it's 10 seconds, and they try to isolate PJ Tucker with 5 seconds, who's not a post threat. This is a terrible possession, but Ibaka needlessly doubles the post, and this leaves Morris open. He misses a 3, but no one boxes out PJ Tucker. He gets the rebound. Green gets a good look but misses, and Morris goes over the top for a foul. Now the Suns just had a bad possession. The Thunder has a 2-point lead. This is the time where they put the game away, right? Instead, Green does a great job, and Russell Westbrook turns it over. This leads to a fast break, and Green gets a great look. He had 8 threes in this game, but he misses, and the Thunder get the rebound. Now, the Thunder set a pin down for Durant, which isn't a bad idea, but Westbrook makes almost no contact with Tucker, and it turns into an ISO, and Durant takes a tough fadeaway jump shot. The Suns do the right thing and try to get in transition, but they don't really have numbers. Dragic tries to drive baseline, but great help by Durant. Good closeout by Westbrook on non-shooting threat Smith. And Smith forces a switch on the pick and roll because he's so quick. Draws a block in the air, but misses the layup. Suns set a pin down for Dragic, and on the post-up, Russell Westbrook does a great job fronting the post, and Caron Butler does an even better job on the over-the-top pass. They don't get a steal out of this, but then Russell Westbrook needlessly reaches in, and that gives Dragic a layup as he blows right by him. Russell Westbrook had a great game, but plays like this have Thunder fans cringing. And the Thunder finally go back to Durant and Westbrook pick and roll, but instead of using the Durant screen and getting to the basket or getting an open shot, he takes a contested three and misses. Dragic does the right thing and push the ball even though they don't have numbers, and this is why Derek Fisher should have retired 2 years ago. There's no way he could stop Dragic in the open floor as he just gets blown by with one in and out dribble. Now what happens here is on the Durant screen, they don't want to switch and put Dragic on him, and so they have to double him in the corner. Now Marcus Morris, who's guarding Caron Butler in the other corner, should be moving over and denying that pass to Derek Fisher. He doesn't, that allows them to move the ball, and Caron Butler gets a great look, he just can't hit it. But Caron Butler makes up for his miss on the other end of the floor as he's matched up with Dragic and plays great defense and forces Dragic into a very tough fadeaway jump shot, and they get the rebound. It's crunch time, and instead of the Thunder going into a high pick and roll or running Durant off screens, Russell Westbrook takes a long two, misses, with no one under the basket for a rebound. I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I said shooting themselves in the foot. Now on the Suns' next possession, they run Green off screens, lots of good movement, and they get it in the high post, one of the deadliest spots on the floor, and the Morris twins hook up with a great alley-oop. Again, this is this type of team chemistry that gets teams that aren't supposed to be in the playoffs to the playoffs. And here, the Thunder go to one of their best sets and run Durant off a screen. And Dragic is just too small when he shows on the screen. They should have been doing this the whole fourth quarter. It doesn't make sense to me. And on this pick and roll, I have no idea what Durant is doing staying on that side of the Morris twin. He should have been on the other side to hedge or show. This forces Russell Westbrook to go under the screen and gives Dragic an open jump shot. Durant's fault there, not Westbrook's. Here they again curl Durant off some screens, and he does the right thing and takes it to the basket on PJ Tucker, who's only 6'5". When the Thunder execute and run plays like the last two times, they are unstoppable, as there's nothing the Suns could have done to prevent that score. Now here the Suns don't really have a true post threat, but they get inside to the post anyway to Markieff Morris, who had a good game, but the Thunder should welcome this as Ibaka is one of the best defenders in the league, but he picks up a foul. Now the Thunder should be running Durant off screens or having Durant and Westbrook screen and roll, but instead they just go to Durant and isolate him. He misses a very tough shot. Great rebound by Westbrook, but he just can't get the desperation heave to go, and that clinches the Suns' win. So there you have it. Most people will say the Suns won just because Gerald Green went off for 41 points, and that is true. But he didn't have a great fourth quarter, and they still hung on to win despite being down a few points. They executed better, and the Thunder should really be concerned as they can't really seem to execute down the stretch. And when it comes playoff time, playing the Spurs, I have concerns for them. The Suns, too, I wasn't too impressed. They were isolation heavy, and they may struggle as they don't have a deep post threat. But they executed better than the Thunder in this game, and that got them the W. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know in the comments who you think will win the West. I think OKC still is the favorite, but I can easily see the Spurs, Clippers, or Houston pulling off the upset and getting to the finals.